Hello and welcome to our webinar, Getting Started, Upload Your Contacts and Send Your First Email in Constant Contact. I want to thank you for joining today and also welcome you to Constant Contact. Today you are going to learn how to upload your contacts, create an email, send an email, and just get familiar with your account. If you'd like, you can log into your Constant Contact account right now if you want to follow along with the live session. It does help to have two screens so you can have the webinar and your account open at the same time. If that's not possible, or if it's easier for you to just watch right now, that's totally okay as well. We do send you a recording after the webinar. So in that case, you can review parts you need to rewatch, go through your account a little bit slower with the recording, whatever you need to do there. So either way, log in or sit back and watch, and let's go ahead and get started. Now I do want to introduce myself and put a face to a name really quick. My name's Caitlin and I'm a manager on the professional services team at Constant Contact. I've been at the company about 11 years, so I'm very familiar with the platform, with email and digital marketing. I'm excited to bring my experience to the session and help you learn how to get started. Now, I also have a colleague in the background answering questions in the chat. So if you actually want to click over to the tab that says Q&A, if you have a question, type it in there. That'll send to my colleague and I'll see those as well. And then you can get an instant answer in that Q&A tab. You won't see other people's questions, so don't worry if you're not seeing that, but we encourage you to ask questions as they come up throughout the session to make sure you're getting all the knowledge you need to be successful with your account. Now let's see more specifically what we're going to cover today. So we will be looking at uploading your contact list, looking at the different options for uploading all your contacts. Then we'll talk about sending your first email. So we'll look at creating an email and then how to send it, along with some time-saving tips for future communications. And then we'll just get a brief tour of your dashboard and the tools that will help set you up for ongoing success. All right, well, with that said, I'm going to pull up my account and we can go ahead and dive in. All right, so let's get started by talking about uploading contacts. That's always a good first step because you do need that list of contacts in order to send an email. Now, it can be a small list, a list of any size, but it is good to get going with this part of the program. So to do that, that'll be here on the left side under Contacts. And then you'll click All Contacts, and then this will just get us to that main page where we can upload and then manage contacts as well. And there are going to be a few different options we can look at, so I'll make sure to show you the main ways to get your contacts uploaded. Now to do that, we'll just click here in the top right where it says Add Contacts. And then here's the different ways to do it. So these top ways here is what we'll be walking through to show you your different options. Also on this screen, there's different opportunities to sync different programs with Constant Contact. There's options to grow your list through our sign up forms. And I do want to mention Constant Contact has a mobile app as well. If you go to your Google Play or your Apple App Store, you can just search for Constant Contact, find the app, and there's several things you can do there, but one of them is upload contacts from your phone. So if you have email addresses for your clients or prospects on your phone, that's a really easy way to get them in your account as well. But let's go ahead and start with upload from file. This is the most common way that people tend to upload their contact list. If you have a database or a CRM, you can usually export your contacts into a CSV or Excel file. Or if you've just been compiling your list in a file on your end, this is also a good way to get those added. Now, I do want to show you the spreadsheet that I'm going to upload just so you can see what it looks like. There is a place right here to download an example if you just want something to start you out with, but this is the one I'm going to upload. So by minimum, at a minimum, you need to have their email address. That's how you're able to email them, of course, is by them having an email address saved in your account. On top of that, you can add other fields. So then just make sure they are all in separate columns in the file. And it is helpful to label each column because that'll help you match things up a little bit later. I will note you can also upload phone numbers. If you're using our SMS texting platform, you can upload a phone number and then an SMS consent date in order to get that information on your list as well if you'll be doing texting. But for today, we'll just be working with our email list. We have some additional information for each of our contacts, and we'll be able to get all of this uploaded. So to do that, I just click upload. Then we find the file. Once that's selected, then I'll click continue. And then what it's doing here is it looked at each column in my file. It looked at the data that was in each column. This is just showing the first couple contacts. And then it matched it up with a constant contact field. Now, this usually will find the field for you. It's really good about doing that, especially if you have it labeled. But you can go through and make sure each one is correct. So this one has first names, and it is labeled first name, so that's good. And then just skimming through, most of these look good. Now the very last one, I had a column for favorite food. So we're a barbecue restaurant. We've collected our customers' favorite dish at the restaurant, and we want to save that. So the field it selected was job title, which isn't quite accurate. It was just kind of finding something close. As you can imagine, favorite field isn't a standard field in Constant Contact, but you can create a custom field. So that's what I'm going to do. And then it labeled it for me, favorite food. So, but I can type whatever I want there. You can also do a date field for your custom field. So we have birthday and anniversary fields built in, but if you have a date that isn't a birthday or anniversary, you can create a custom field for that as well. Okay, so now everything is matched up, so I can click continue. Next, we'll need to check this box to confirm we have permission to email them. That is required with Constant Contact, whether it's implied permission, people you've worked with in the past who've given you their email address, or people who've actually explicitly signed up to receive your emails. We just need some sort of permission for that. Then you'll choose what list to save them to. It will automatically create a new list if you don't select one. But I do want to create one because I'm going to start building out this list for my barbecue contacts here. So I'm going to create a list called barbecue promotions. We'll create that, and then we're good to go. So from here, I will click import, and then it will bring them in. Sometimes can take a minute or two, sometimes it's pretty quick. Just usually depends on how many you have usually. But there we go. There's my list. So I have 10 contacts in my account, and I could send to them now or keep adding contacts. I do have a few more contacts that I want to add, so let's go ahead and look at some of the other options for that. So I will go back to Add Contacts. And now let's take a look at adding multiple contacts. So this is the option you want if you do have more than one contact to add, but don't have a full spreadsheet to upload. So in my case, I have just like a notepad of email addresses that I've typed out. Maybe I pulled this from a email list from my email program, copied and pasted it off of some other document we use, or just have a small handful of people I need to add on to my larger list. This is just an additional option for that. So there are a couple options. So I could do this where I type them in one by one. There are 3 fields now: email address, first name, and last name. But I could add more if I wanted job title, company name, and then just type that in. Now that is a little bit tedious, takes some time. If you have all of that information anyway, you might just want to put together a spreadsheet first, but that's up to you. The other way to do it is to click here and copy and paste them in, which that's what I'm going to do with my little notepad here. So let me copy this. Then we come to this paste names and emails. Paste, continue. Then we click this plus sign to add it to the list. There's that list I made, barbecue promotions. Click apply and import. This is just confirming they have permission and they expect to hear from me. Click agree, and it's that quick and easy. Now when you're pasting the names and emails, it is just name and email address. So if you have other fields, you might want to go with one of the other methods. But otherwise, it's just good for that, like I said, small group of people to add on into your account. Now, the final way to look at is clicking here on Add Contacts. We will create a new contact. And let's just look at how to add in one. So this is if someone hands you a business card and you just want to get them on the list, or if you're brand new, starting out right now, don't have a full list, feel free to add yourself, a colleague, a family member, a friend, just for the sake of getting a list started. So I'm going to just add in, I'll copy and paste an example email address here. Click continue. And now this is where I can fill out all the different fields I have for this person. So we do have the box to confirm that you have permission. Then fill out anything else you have. I definitely want to make sure to get them added to the barbecue promotions list. So we'll put that in there for sure. We could do a first name, last name, Jack Smith. And then as you can see, all the different options here. But for the sake of time, let's just go with that. Save. Now his contact details have been saved onto the list. And here we are. We have a good list here of 23 people. I think we are ready to create an email and go ahead and send it to them. So let's go over that next. So to switch gears, one thing I want to set up before I send my email is my branding in the account. I can actually set up a theme, and that way all of my templates will match my brand. So that is going to be here under what we call our brand kit. So I'm going to click on that. And with this, you can add your logo, colors, or images that you can save into a theme. Or even easier, you can have it scan your website and pull that all in for you. Now, when I set up my account, I added my website, so it's even filled in for me automatically, but you can copy and paste whatever you want in here and then click scan my website. So now it found some colors, it found some pictures, and I can work with this a little bit to get it saved the way I want it. So first of all, it pulled every color it found on that page, which I don't use them all regularly for my branding, so we'll just uncheck the ones we don't need. Let's see, the orange and brown are the big ones. And let's stick with that. Images. This isn't the only place or time to add images into your account, but it's really helpful because this just pulls in any images you have on your website. So that saves you some time. They'll be saved in your image library. So now on the right side, I apply my brand colors. And it gives you lots of options. So you can go through, look at the light ones, the dark ones. You can also just go through each color and customize it yourself. I like this one, the orange background, the brown button, the black text. Let's go with that and continue. And then we can do a little bit more customizing to get this all squared away. One thing is I do need to add my logo. So it didn't pull it in originally, but that's fine because I can add it myself. So I'll click over here, logo, add a logo, and it did find it. It just wasn't identified as the logo itself. So all I have to do is insert this, and now it's in there. And then if I come back here, here's all my elements that I have for my theme now. And then if we come back to the theme itself, I can make any last tweaks to the color scheme. This isn't an actual email that you're editing, it's just giving you a preview of what your templates will look like. So you can go in, your brand kit colors are saved now in the color picker. So maybe I want that to be brown. I think everything else looks good though. So we are ready to send or create and then send an email. Now I do see a question here from Sarah. Can I have multiple themes? So at this time, no, it is just one theme to be applied for the full account. You can create multiple master templates, which that's actually what we're doing today. We're creating a master template that we'll save for our future communications. But in terms of branding and theme, it is just one. So if I wanted to scan another website, it would just replace this current theme. But great question. So let's hop over to our marketing. We're going to go to the email page here. And as I mentioned, we're going to first of all create a template that's kind of like our outline, our master template. We're going to save that, and then we're going to use that to send an email. So I will go ahead and click create an email. And this is going to pull up all of our templates. We do have quite a few, but they are pretty easy to look through. I indicated that my business is a restaurant when I set up my account. So it has all of our restaurant templates. It has there's tons of like holiday and various templates created in the account. But it does have the branded templates because I set up my branding. I can go through and just choose one with my branding automatically. You can go to this search to search for a topic or industry. You can pull up just the branded ones here, the industry, there's featured ones. Something to keep in mind with all of them is they're all super customizable. So if there's one that looks really cool, but it's for like a real estate agent and you're not in real estate, that's okay. You can customize it and make it your own. But I do want to go with the branded because this really does save time if my colors and logo and things are already in there. So then I'll want to look through, think about what I am planning to send out on a regular basis, and then choose something that I think is a good starting point. I am just going to go with a very basic one actually, so you can look at how to build it out. So I'm going to go with the card. I'm going to select it with my branding. And then we'll be able to edit this here. So this will be our master template for future email communications. And here's what we have so far. So now I get to come in and customize this however I want. So first of all, if you'll notice here in the top left, this is the name, just the internal name for this email draft. I'm going to edit that. I don't want it to be untitled. I actually want to call this master template draft, let's say. And we'll save that. All right, I'm going to start at the top now and work my way through. So I'm going to go into this email settings first. This is sort of like your header information, what people are seeing in the inbox when they receive this email. So there is the subject line and pre-header. The pre-header is like a subtitle, a line of text that comes after or below the subject line in your inbox. I'm not going to edit those now because those will change each time I use this template. So we can just leave the default text in there. The from name, this is very important. This needs to be recognizable because this is who it looks like it's coming from. So if they know who it's coming from, they'll be more likely to open it. Now, once again, when I set up my account, I filled out all my business information. So it filled in my name for me automatically. If yours is showing something different, very easy to just delete this and type something different. Then we have the from email address. Now this is the email address that it looks like it's coming from. This is something you have to authorize and authenticate to make sure that it's coming from a real email address. It's sent through the Constant Contact servers, but the from address still needs to be a legitimate email address. So I'm just choosing the one we set up our account with, and then the reply to address, that can be the same or different. This would be if someone clicks reply on the email you sent them, it's where it would go. So if maybe I have a different inbox that I monitor for customer requests, I could have the reply to address be that. I would just need to add it on and then add an additional constant contact address or even verify a new one. I may need to authenticate it at that point, but all the instructions will be in here on how to walk through doing that. So this looks good. So I am going to save it. And now we have that set up. So now we can dive into the body of the email itself. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually, I have my logo filled in, which is perfect, but I always like to have that at the top. That way it's one of the first things they see, and it establishes brand recognition and also makes it just more recognizable. They'll know who this is coming from. So to move a block, I'm just hovering over it, clicking on our arrows, and it's a click and drag. So there we go. Now it's at the top. Now, something I recommend with all images, especially your logo, is to make them a clickable link. You can actually set it up to where when someone clicks on a picture, it links somewhere. And I always recommend linking the logo to the home page of your website. So then if someone just happens to click on your logo, you're driving traffic to your website right away. So I will click the logo. Let's undo. Undo is one of my favorite features if you need it. Click on the logo. There we go. There's the link option at the top. And I'm going to link it to a web page. Let's just say it's jacksbarbecue.com. Insert that. And now our logo is set up. So that is perfect. Now the next thing I would recommend to have in every template is a supporting image. Pictures bring marketing communications to life and grab people's attention and makes it more engaging, whether it's a picture of a product, an event, if you're an animal shelter, a picture of a dog, anything like that. I highly recommend that. So I like that this template has a placeholder for an image. So I'm going to leave that there, and then that's something I can replace. I'll switch it out each time. So I'll just leave the placeholder for now. But if you want to add a little placeholder for an image, if your template doesn't have it, that's going to be under Build. There's tons of different options of things you can click and drag in to this template. An image placeholder would be this one here. So it just adds a little space that you've set aside for an image. I don't need two though, so I'll leave my supporting image. And let's move on to the next thing you're going to want in your template is a headline. Now there's a couple different layouts I like to use for this, these top two options here. So I will click and drag that in. I'll show you what the other option looks like as well. This one just has like a background color. I'm going to take that one out and we'll go with this one, but it's important to have a place to just quickly draw people into your message, let them know what you're offering, what the email's about, and eventually draw them to your call to action. Now something my template has built in is the spacer blocks. You can see if I'm highlighting underneath. And these are nice because they help you space things out, but I'm thinking this is almost too much space for myself. So I'm going to click on one of the spacers. Everything you need always comes to the top. So any block you click on, look for the tools at the top. I'm going to delete that. I think that looks a little better. If you want to add a spacer, that's this option here. So you can drag those in as well. The next element you'll want to have in every template is a text box. You need a place to put your message that you've previewed in your headline. So I have my text box in here already. If you need to add one, that's over here. Drag and drop that in. And then that's how you get that in there. I don't need both though, so I'll delete that back out. And at this point, I'm just leaving all the default text because once again, this is just the master template that we'll be updating in the future. Now the next thing a template needs is a call to action. And this is arguably the most important part of a template because with every email you send, you have a goal. And usually to meet that goal, you need your reader to take an action. So I highly recommend adding in a link with a button like this. These stand out, especially in our case, we have a white background, a dark brown button, and this makes it really easy for them to know what action to take. If your template doesn't have a button and you want to add one, That'll be this option. You can drop that in. I'll delete that one. And I'll show you in a minute how to add a link to that. We'll just leave the default text for now. So we're almost done here. This is a good basic outline for an email. Now I do want to work with the bottom a little bit. I want to make sure every time I send an email that there's a little section with all my contact information. And then this is a block I can leave in the template every time I send it, because hopefully my information will stay the same. You can always change it if it does, but basically I just want to have a footer is what I'll call it. Now there is this footer down here at the very bottom. This has your physical address and the unsubscribe link. Both of these things are required by law for marketing emails, both your physical address and the option to unsubscribe. So you can't really edit these much, but you do have to have an address, like I said. So if yours isn't in here yet, go ahead and edit that and get that filled in, because it won't send until you have it. Now, if you don't want to, if you're like an e-commerce company and you don't have a brick and mortar address to share, a PO box works as well. All right, so what I'm going to do though is, and you can design this however you want, I'll keep it pretty simple, but I am going to put a little footer of my own at the bottom of the body of my email. So I like this feature article block. I'm going to click and drag that in. That I set up with my theme to have a light brown background. I'm going to also drag that spacer below it. So now it's kind of this set apart little area. And then a few things to clean up then is I'll actually delete this. This is just a text box. I could fill this out too as well, but I want to delete this one. I don't think I want a picture here, so I'll delete that. And I do want my social media buttons, because this is where I'm going to add my social media, my phone number, my address, business name, just so it's all in one place that they can look at right there at the bottom. So I'm going to drag these social media buttons down, click and center it. And then we can start to fill this in quickly. So I'll click in the text box, highlight, delete the filler text. I have some text I can copy and paste. So I'm going to put, like I said, the physical address, the phone number, and our hours of operation. So now, and this works like any text editor and any program you've ever used for writing text probably. It has all your basics here at the top. So like I can center this, I can, maybe I want the business name bolded, maybe a size or two bigger. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but I can work with this, get it looking exactly the way I want, because then I'll just leave this at the bottom and then won't need to edit it after this. Now when it comes to the social media buttons, I need to link these up. So let me click on that. And here on the left, I get some options for what the buttons themselves actually look like. If I want to go with gray, or there's even different shapes of the buttons. I'm going to do that. And then, this is important, you do have to put in your links, which is kind of hidden. So you need to click here, and now you can fill in the links. So I have a Facebook page for Jack's Backyard Barbecue. So we'll paste that link in there. We don't have X for our business, so I can actually remove that. We do have Instagram. Put that, and then you can add others as well. LinkedIn, Pinterest, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Google My Business, email, and website. I'm going to add a button for my website as well. I don't think it hurts to have it in there again. We have our logo linked, and then we'll have this button at the bottom linked up for them as well. So that's looking good. So we can back arrow out of that. And I'm done. So here is my master template. Now this is pretty short and to the point. These are the essential elements you need: an image, headline, paragraph, call to action, and then all your branding and contact information. Now you may have more information to share than this. Maybe you're doing a newsletter, maybe you have more of an informational email where you're sharing multiple articles. That's where all these different layouts come in. You can continue to click and drag in other sections. I will caution you though to not make your email too long, because people will stop scrolling and stop reading pretty quickly. These days, with people checking email on their phones, the attention span's pretty short, so you really have to get to the point. Now, let's stop here with the templates, and let me show you how to save it and then use it to send. So I'm actually going to, it is saved, so I'm actually going to get out of this, go back to, let's just go to my home page, the dashboard. All right, so here on my dashboard, I do see the draft we worked on in my recent campaigns. I could also come over here to the email page. This is where I'll see all my emails listed out as well. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to come here to the three dots, and I can actually save this as a template. And then I get to use this for all my future emails that I'm sending out. So let's save it, and we will call it, let's just call it Jack's Barbecue Master Template. Save that. So now when I'm ready to create an email, I click create an email, and we're going to find it in the template picker now, which is really cool. And you can create multiple templates. So if you feel like, I mean, maybe you send a monthly newsletter, but then you also have a shorter event email you send out or things like that, you get this saved section, and then they'll all show up here, and you can select the one that you want. So let's select this one. Let's say Jack's Backyard Barbecue has a brisket promotion that we want to let our customers know about. So it's pulling up a new draft of that saved template. So I do want to name it here in the top left. Let's call this Jack's Barbecue Brisket Promotion. Save that. And because we set this up ahead of time, it's going to be very fast for us to create and send an email, because all we have to do is fill in the content. So to start, I want to add my supporting image. I can do that from our images option over here. These are all the ones that got pulled in from my website. So there's one here I'll just go ahead and use, drag that in. I could also upload other images from my computer. There's some stock images, upload from phone, even that's through that mobile app I mentioned earlier. That's one of the other things you can do. And then they're all saved in my image library. Now, as I also mentioned, every image should be a clickable link. It's a really easy opportunity to drive traffic. Now, I recommend the supporting image be linked to the same place as your call to action so that you're giving them a couple chances to go where you want them to. So I clicked the image, I click link, web page. My call to action is going to be for them to make a reservation. So this is the link that our call to action will be. So we'll insert that with the picture as well. All right, moving right along. So now we want to fill in our messaging here. And I'm actually going to do the body text first, and then we'll come back to the headline. Now, something that's really cool about Constant Contact is in our text boxes. First of all, I do want to delete the example filler text. If you accidentally leave that in there, your readers will see it. So don't forget to do that. But amongst our tools up here, we do have this Write with AI. So if you know what you want to say, but need a little help crafting the message, you can click that. And let's try it out. So we have this brisket promotion. I have some things I can fill in here. So brisket promotion available. It's going to be buy one, get one free. Offer ends Sunday at 9 p.m. Make a reservation. And then you can even set a tone. Do you want it to be more professional, enthusiastic, informative, approachable, persuasive? Let's go with enthusiastic. And then create. And so then it's taking that messaging I provided and it wrote something. Get ready to fire up your taste buds with our irresistible buy one get one free brisket promotion at Jack's Backyard Barbecue. I think that sounds good. Definitely enthusiastic. So I will click insert, and now it's in there. Now, just because the AI tool wrote this for you doesn't mean you can't edit this. And I'd actually recommend that you carefully read through it, make sure all the details are okay, and make sure it just sounds the way you want it to sound. You do want to not go more than 3 to 5 sentences or 20 lines of text here. As I said, the attention spans are short when people are reading this on that small phone screen. So get all the details in there, get to the point, and then stop there. So now that we have this message, it'll be really easy for me to write my headline because I could just find a phrase in here that I like, and I'm just reading through. I like this. This mouth-watering offer is just too good to pass up. So let's paste that. And I like this because we're letting them know there's an offer, but then they do have to read the paragraph to find out what the offer is. So they'll look at that, they'll automatically want to read that, and then we are giving them that action to make your reservation today. So then we change our button to say make a reservation. And then we can edit everything for the button, customize it here on the left. I'm going to add in a link, doing that same link that I did for the picture. And with that, we are done. So it took us 5 minutes to create our email, especially with the AI assistance. That's always nice to really get things moving. And I would say if you're following along now, whether live or on the recording, give that a try. Just throw something together right now so that you can follow along and send this and just see how it, even if it's just to yourself, just to see what it all looks like. But we are ready to send. So the first thing you want to do before your live send is a preview and a test. The preview, this shows you what it's going to look like. All your links become clickable, so you can just click through everything, make sure it looks okay. It is mobile responsive, so you can see how it'll adjust to the mobile screen. And then we do have this tool called Inbox Preview. This is something you can add on to your account for $10 a month. And it's really cool because it'll show you what the email will look like in various email programs, like Gmail versus Outlook versus Apple. Each program can display things slightly differently. So if you want to get a sense of what it will look like, you can do this Inbox Preview and check that out. And it is a good thing to do, to check, but I would also recommend sending yourself a test. So you just accept it here if you want to do that. But to send a test, you'll just do that right here. And with this, you could send it to different email programs too, and then like check it on your phone, check it on your work computer, whatever you want to do. But you can enter up to 5 email addresses, just do a test send, check your inbox, make sure everything is squared away. And then once it does look good, we're ready to send for real. So let's continue. All right, so we do get the option of when to send. Do I want to send it right now? Do I want to schedule it for later? And you can send another test email from here too if you decide you want to do a last minute check. Let's schedule it for later. Maybe we're planning ahead a little bit. This promotion will actually be towards the end of the month, so we could schedule it for, it said the offer ends Sunday, so maybe we send it like the Monday before. Choose your time, choose your list. That's the list we created earlier. If you want to just try this out now, if you don't have your list added, feel free to just, if you want to add yourself to a list, you can send it to that one. It does prompt you to make sure you have that physical address in there that fills in at the bottom. Now, the one thing you do want to edit before we send this is the subject line and pre-header. So let's edit that here. So we don't need the from name, the from address. That's what we set up in our template. So it's really just the subject line and pre-header. There's even a little like AI recommendation functionality here too. So I could see some recommended subject lines and it'll scan the content of the email and find some ideas. I like that one. Same for pre-header. Don't miss out on this deal. I like that. Although I'm going to change, maybe I want it capitalized more like a sentence. Okay, that looks good. So now everything's been finalized. I will schedule it. And if you're following along, you could even send it now to yourself if you want to try that. We're set. So we've done it. We've uploaded contacts. We've created a master template. We've used that template to craft a message, and we've scheduled it out to send. So we've done it all. The last thing I will quickly show you before we wrap up, I just want to come back to this dashboard. So this is like the home page, and this is just a good place to go to just see everything at a glance. So I have over here email performance. So once I actually do start sending, it'll give me my average open rate and click rate. And it does let me know how many contacts I currently have, contact growth, because I went from basically 0 to 23. I've had 100% growth this week. Here's all our recent campaigns. I can go in, edit, copy, delete, and then just here at the bottom I can hop in and quickly create any other campaigns I want to as well. I do also want to point out this question mark icon at the top right. This is where you're going to find all of the resources you need to get help. So articles, our new customer hub, more webinars, contact us. There's a support team you can call, our full help center. There's a whole bunch of stuff there. So if you get stuck, check that out. I will talk a little bit more about the resources in a minute as well, but that's just a great place to always go if a question comes to mind. All right, well, at this point, we are ready to wrap up. So let's recap and see if we have any questions we can get to here at the end. At this point, you're ready to take the information you learned today and apply it in your account. So after the webinar today, make sure to work on creating and saving that master template. Use the available tools to create a template that's branded with your logo, colors, and contact information, which will then save you a ton of time. Once that's saved, this creates a nice template for you to add content to and send to any list size. Then, of course, make sure to upload your contact list. We looked at the various different ways to do it in your account, and you can choose the best way that works for you. Now, once you've sent your first email, or even before you send for the first time, we do have the opportunity for you to receive feedback on your template. Here on this slide, we have the steps that will help you successfully create a post that allows you to get feedback on your email design. So this is on our community page. I'm going to share the link right now in a little pop-up in the bottom left. And then on this page, what you'll do is click Share Your Campaign Now. It'll probably prompt you to log into your account. Then you title your post, describe what kind of feedback you're looking for, and then share a screenshot of your email, or you can even share a URL of the campaign you already sent. Post it, and then you should get a response that gives you some feedback on your email that you can apply to future templates and emails that you send. All right, well, let's spend our last few minutes answering some questions. My colleague's been doing an amazing job answering questions throughout the session in our question window, but we have a little bit of time to answer a few out loud as well. So let's see what we have. Here's a good one from Betty. She says, I'm not running a promotion. I'm sending out a newsletter. What if I need more content in my email? Yeah, that's a great question. Let me pull back up the account here and we can look at that. So, of course, everyone has different goals for their emails. Ours was more of a promotional type thing, but a lot of times you will be sending, whether it's a newsletter or just an announcement, or you have some articles or information to share, you may need to include more than one topic, and that is okay and definitely possible. Let's create a new email from our master template we made, and I can just quickly show you how to add additional content. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll come up here to create and send an email. And then we'll find the master template, like I said, that we made, our saved one right here. I'll just go ahead and select that. And we will rename it. Let's just edit this. We'll say newsletter template, for example. So you can add content from the left side. There's a lot of cool layouts you can work with to add some additional, whether it's 2 columns or like a featured article block or Left column sidebar, you can scroll through and see many different options. So maybe if I want to click and drag in this, now we have a couple columns, and I would want a spacer in between here, I think. But then I could add a couple different topics in here. It is important to have a call to action for each topic. So I would even want to put a button probably in each column, like so. And then I could work with this. You don't want your emails to be too long, so keep that in mind. People are checking emails on the go. They're probably not spending more than a minute reading any one email. So keep the text short, 20 lines of text. Make sure there's a call to action. If they want more information and need more details, then they could click to a website to get more information. And then just make sure there's not too many images, that it's not too long. Send it to yourself on your phone or even do the mobile test. And if it takes a really long time to scroll through and you have to scroll more than maybe a couple times, then it is too long and you probably want to split it up into 2 emails instead of just one long email. So we do get that question a lot, actually, because I know our example was very simple and to the point. And generally that is the way you want to do it. Just have your picture, paragraph, and call to action and fill your content in and send it out. But there's definitely times where you need to share more and just keep dragging in additional blocks and then add your content in there. All right, let's see. Taylor asks, I have a PDF. Can I send that out? Yes. Let's look at how to do that. I'm just going to hop back to our home page and actually let's go create. We'll send an email. We do have an option on the template picker page to send a PDF. So it's going to be right here where it says convert from PDF. Now the way this works is it will have you browse your computer to upload the PDF. Then it will convert the first page of that file into an image. It'll drop that image into a template that's pre-branded with some of the colors that are in the PDF, so it'll try to match that. It'll also have a text box and a button. Now, the button will then link to the PDF file. If the PDF is multiple pages, it still only converts the first page to that image, but then they could click on the button to read the full document. And the reason why there's a text box in there is because we actually do not recommend sending emails that are only an image. And that's because most of the time those will go to spam, actually. So you do need to balance out images with text. So you'd want to use that text box to add any additional information you have, and then that button is there as well. So it's not the most recommended way to send out an email because when you have a large image like that, you can't edit the text, you can't add multiple links, you'd only be able to link the image to one link. Although if it's just a simple newsletter you're sending out and you want the first page displayed and then they click to read the full newsletter, it's definitely a possibility and something you could try. You'll edit the template the same way we looked at. The branding would just be a little different, but you definitely, like I said, do want to include some text beyond that PDF image. So that's also a great question. We actually get that one a lot too. Let's see if there's maybe one last question we can squeeze in. Travis asks, I have different groups I'm emailing. Can I have more than one list? definitely. If I were to go to my contacts page here, I have a few lists already. If we go to lists, but when you're adding contacts, you can create a new list during that upload process, or you can even create a brand new list here and have it ready to add contacts into. So you can definitely have multiple lists, not a problem at all. But with that, let's go ahead and wrap up. So if you think of any other questions in the future, we have a lot of resources to help. You can check out our new customer hub at constantcontact.com/get-started. You can find video tutorials, on-demand courses, more live webinars, and a link to our live Ask a Trainer drop-in sessions, so you can get instant answers and guidance for there. I'm going to include that link in the follow-up email that you'll be receiving after this. In that follow-up email will also be a link to this recording and a link to the handout. Also, when the webinar closes out here in a second, there's a survey that pops up. So if you have 1 or 2 more minutes to spare, would love to get your feedback and your thoughts. I read through each one of those survey submissions and love to just hear your thoughts. Other than that, thanks for joining our webinar and have a good rest of your day.